Okay, sige. Okay. Okay, this should be what adjustments you will be doing or draft pretty shortly here. Just need to see how it goes. Groups and we will be ready. Yeah, first we need to be ready. We'll be doing. We have the option of pick two, and I guess I could do that. It's cheaper. But I already did say I was gonna do Premiere. So what I'm gonna do is I will probably do one and maybe two Premiere drafts. That's how we're gonna do it. Then we'll probably do one pick two when I have time for this. But first I do need to share this with the groups. Should be relatively quick. My initial understanding of the format right now is that it's pretty much balanced by the archetypes, though there are not that many archetypes to begin with, so that's something to keep in mind. So we have to again recall that, and it's not like oh it's allied colors, oh it's enemy colored, so we're gonna have to really keep that one in mind. Like for example, at least in Spider-Man, it was clearly all allied colors, so that one kind of worked. Here it's actually all okay, it actually kind of works. It's all enemy colored, so maybe this does line up. So they probably anticipated with this in mind. Hopefully the next Marvel set that comes up doesn't mess things up, or else we're in for another world of hurt. Anyway, hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Magic Arena Run. Today we are going to be doing a premiere draft of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is going to be our first actual draft. I probably should have been doing pick twos, though I'm probably still a bit annoyed with pick 2 being 6,000. Is it, what's this, inflation? I probably would just rather wait for quick draft at that point. I'm also having to do this a little bit earlier. Like normally I did the seal just a few days ago. Normally I'd wait for next week, but this coming Sunday I'll be home. I'll be back really late. I'll be coming from out of town, so I'm gonna just do this now and have something saved up, I guess. And I guess this one's a good start. This does put us into white black sneak again, but this is a very good one to white black sneak into. So that said, what we really want to look out for now are cheap sneak creatures, cheap evasive creatures, and maybe one or two bomb sneak creatures. But for now, we'll take this one. Also of note is that we are clearly passing some artifact shenanigans here, but we are passing a lot of cards for. Yeah, I guess I will take the sneak demonic shooter as well. That said, we are passing probably the best common in April O'Neil. I might actually just take that instead. We're also passing pretty good removal as well, so there. But I guess if I can solidify in white, it shouldn't be too bad. Okay, there is Squirrelnoids and Death in the Family. I probably would want at least one Death in the card, not the actual. We need to clarify. We need to be very clear about that one, because we are playing to the early game, so we kind of want to have a lot of stuff in the early game as well. I would still like an anchovy pizza as well. I just realized that a lot of how we're going to comment about the set, it's gonna sound so weird because it sounds like something that you could take so out of context. This is something to keep in mind. Also, we're kind of crossing our fingers that we are not going to get. Sure, we're seeing more packs, but this one is one of the more aggressive setups. So we really need to hit all that early aggression here. As I did say, what I'm hoping to see is the best white uncommon. So we didn't get that. We did get some removal. Actually, quite a lot of removal. We had the sneak removal. That's an option. It's quite solid. There is also an action use crew that we could also take. I might just fight over the Shredder's technique first. But yeah, there is a very good chance that we're either not seeing the cards or we're getting somewhat cut off. So that... Okay, we're not getting somewhat cut off. We're definitely getting cut off. I will still have to take this one. As much as I'd like to take a free mythic. And it looks like blue-red was wide open. We probably should have gone into that one. That said, it's not too late to fix things up. We'll start taking a lot of the cheap cards now, because those are the harder ones to come by. Funnel Rats is probably good too, just for being super annoying. Wow! Okay, the artifact deck is really way too open. Am I too invested in this, or can I start... Well, this is a sneak card anyway, so I'm gonna speculate on this. Because if I see a lot of blue-red cards come back, I'll take the Tunnel Rats for now for this one, but this is super weird. It does explain why we barely saw it. Okay, we did pass one news fan, but we did pass one news fan, but otherwise everything else is pretty much in black. Okay, so here's the wheel. Monster Foundry came back. Nobody came back, and I'm going to have to start working on the assumption that we might need to pivot to... We might need to pivot to black, blue, red. Or maybe not. I'm still... Okay, also take note, this is a 6 cost spell. I would probably rather have one of the cheaper ones here. I'll take one of these though. Yeah, it is looking like blue-red is very open. But the action the bus came back. So yeah, we probably should... The beginning of combat, put on each of a... Oh wow, this is actually quite good. Okay, definitely taking this one. So we are still getting good cards in white-black. This spell can't be countered whenever it's menace, so I guess it's fine. I'm fine with this. This is literally just a 3/2 menace, so it's not really that great for us. I would probably rather have this, or maybe even this when you put this trigger on, or maybe even a Mikey and Leo. So that said, double black menace probably would have been fine. That said, we have to remember that we only have like 2 really good sneak cards right now. Everything else is just more into aggro at this point. There's a Foot Elite. This one's probably okay. I should probably start taking some of these Foot Ninjas though. And also start taking... Oh, what's this? 4 mana... No, okay, we have to take this. In 101. Another Tunnel Rat is looking good. But this does play into the I must block this or they sneak in, so we could actually... So this one might not be so this one might actually kind of work. I probably would still take another Foot Headquarters, but no. I'll take this one. Let's just out of curiosity. And yeah, it's definitely no one is in blue-red. There's a Leonardo Big Brother. There is another pain. Leonardo in this case. So I think a lot of us are fighting for white black, and we're all kind of suffering for it. Also, I need to check. Do we have anything else that gives some +1/+1 counters aside from Agent Bishop? Well, Action News Crew actually does, so that would so this one kind of works as well. But yeah, looking at things, we could have gotten ourselves a blue-red deck that had quite a bit of choice. XL target tap until okay. We just have to take this one as straight removal, though it's not. It's interesting that we get it for free, sort of. I guess one Omni Cheese pizza is not so bad, and everything else is just to fill this one here. We do still get some really late black white cards, so it's not completely a wash. But we are still able to fill up a deck. But now we're in the stage where we kind of want heavy hitters now. Like we got a lot of a lot of them 2 drops already. So Karai Foot, Future of the Foot is a pretty good one for us here. April would also be fine, and I'll take Karai here in this case. Leo. A lot of Leo. Ooh, cloning a Shredder would be super interesting. Actually, Eastwind Avatar well, that one was good only because we had the Sally Pride. I keep mentally saying Kitty Pride. We'll take a cloning. And this is XL card from a graveyard, so let's say a Shark Shredder would be a good one. Now we're starting to hit some of the payoffs. We still kind of want some more good 1/2 drops. We're really short on the 1-drop department. If we can find some of those, that would be nice. But at the beginning of combat, put a plus, then lose X left where X is the. Ooh, this is kind of risky. It's also a broadcast takeover. I could just take another Squirrelinoids for. When this enters, mill 3 cards from this creature is when you exile it, put target creature card from your. This one's not too bad. I guess I could, but let's keep in mind. We'll take another of these. We're definitely heavy into black, so Mikey and Leo might get cut here. Yeah, I guess now we probably want to take either a High Flying Ace or a Make Your Move. I think I'll take a Make Your Move for this. Make Your Move for this one. And let's see what else we get. Shredder Unrelenting, that also gives us a big one. I can take a Kitsune's Technique just to. Yeah, do I really want Shredder Unrelenting? Let's take the rare. I would rather have like a Stomp by the Foot. Another Action News Crew is probably fine. Again, this is most likely gonna get cut here because of color considerations. Omni Cheese Pizza probably also gets cut as well if we can find another good playable. So that is currently what we are looking at right now. F8. Yeah, I don't think I will have room for the Putrid, so though it does kind of combine nice. I don't want another Pain 101. Though Ultron Scientist is really annoying to play against. That's something I can mention. So we have a pretty serviceable deck. Is it a very good deck? We have some bombs, but it's not. My concern is that a lot of our initial plays are on turn 2, so we're gonna have to kind of work around that part here. We don't. We really have to work on these because if we're starting to play on turn 3, we might be in trouble. Though we do have some evasiveness, I guess. Some amount of removal we can play on turn 3. As far as removal is concerned, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Pain 101 is kind of removal, so 5. Henchbots is kind of 6, so we'll see if we can make this work. I won't be surprised if we do get in trouble because we are missing a lot of the really good uncommons. We don't have a big sneak engine working. It's like we have a few early creatures. We might be lucky to sneak something. That's kind of where we're at right now. But we'll see how it goes. And we also know that I should really recheck our mana because I know white is our. Yeah, we can do turn to April. We do have a free scry too, so we can work with that. I really need to recheck our mana. I forgot to do that. Okay, no, that's fine now. Not punished. Also note that her effect. Also, Pain 101 is a good way to absorb a removal spell. So we keep that in mind. Also, put the fear of God on our opponents. They're really deciding. They probably, if they have removal, they probably take out April. Which does make Sneak 4 very attractive. So need double check. Whenever it deals, create a. Ooh, okay, so create a mint. Yeah, they had removal, and I should have expected that. And we'll miss out. So we'll see what their opponent has as a follow-up. I could easily just... start making ninjas. Now they might have the removal suite, so that's something to keep in mind. We could have easily just played Insectoid Exterminator instead. But that doesn't exile it, so... Let me double check. It's whenever that deals combat damage. This time they finally get rid of it. Now because it's exiled, we're not getting back Dark Leo. We're gonna try to draw into something. See if we can draw into something. They probably have to block Harai because that does get cards back. We also have to do a sanity check on this. It's the beginning of my end step. Something already disappeared, so else. So now we need to scry into something better. We are about to get really flooded. That's just 2 lands we had to scry away. Thankfully, our opponent is the one that's kind of getting flooded now. And we now have henchbots as a... Exile target creature card from your graveyard. Let's see, double check. Except it isn't legendary, so okay, we can clone Karai. Okay, that's okay. Looks like we have a plan now. If our opponent drops a creature, we probably just henchbots first. That's because if our opponent does take it out, we can actually clone that instead. Which is probably gonna be super annoying for our opponent. Oh, it has to be tapped. Okay, never mind. So the trick now is, let's see how... Because if our opponent swings into this, we will block it. But that means they'll have a tapped creature. Which... Oh. Okay, this one's good for us too. Opponent... Yeah, but we didn't get the cloning in because we did... We could have just started cloning April now that I think of it. That might also be kind of creepy as well, but we'll leave it at that. So some misplays with the henchbot. Something we have to remember that the creature has to be tapped. It's not straight up removal. That's why they can get away with it in as a colorless artifact, because there are some hoops that you need to jump through. Okay, so we got our 1/2, but we don't have a sneak follow up. So not a very powerful hand. We definitely want to scry for sure. Sec. Okay, opponent going for skateboard. It's a very good combat trick, but it's... I'm probably gonna end up just doing Shredder's Revenge to draw cards. Oh wow. So depending on our opponent's drop, if the opponent's playing white-red, yeah, that's the worst. This does exile it, but it does take a while for our opponent to get it up. I'm yeah, not waiting. Also, next turn we can do revenge into Squirrelinoids. Or we just do anchovy pizza and hope our opponent is. Hello. Yeah, I agree. White red is support. Now, that said, I would not be surprised if. Okay, 2/4 trample, not the worst. Equip it. Make it a 3/4 trample, but I could just. Okay, so I'm going to draw 2 cards, use 2 life first. Okay, we have a game plan now. And I can play my backup Squirrelinoids if I on defense. Oh no, they're giving it up right away. Okay. Which means Karai can get the Squirrelinoids. Ooh, pick one target creature from that player's graveyard. I'd probably get Raphael actually. Ooh, never mind. Looks like our opponent is. Looks like our opponent is going kind of wide. So if I swing with these two. I'm okay with it. Let's see how they. And there's no. Yeah, I expected that much. That's fine. I can play this to get it back, or I'm probably just gonna play this now. No need to get fancy with it. We're just gonna have to put it on our opponent to have removal and see if we can sneak it out in much later in the future. Yeah, I guess Tunnel Rats 1 is the correct number. We do have some other evasive creatures. Eastwind Avatar. Having first strike actually gives us a lot of help here. Yeah, we take 3. Sure. Yeah, they're just gonna throw that under the bus. And I'll probably just dump these two on the field so that we can get Karai in. Yeah, this one. Yeah, presenting ourselves with a. So this one's a bit too. I'm not sure. They could still hit. They hit us for 4. It's vigilance anyway. Yep. That will get the concession. And yeah, we have to. Not everything with sneak needs to be cast with sneak. So doing pretty well. Doing pretty well. 2 wins so far. Yeah, we really need those rares to be able to get the advantage. I honestly don't. So yeah, conclusion confirmed. This is a Prince format, true and true. Some are less Prince than others, but I guess it really doesn't hurt to have a lot more princely effects. I probably could have also gotten a really good blue red deck if I had started there. If say my pack one pick one was not darkly shredder, I probably could have had I could have had an easy switch to blue red anytime, and I probably will need to consider doing blue red artifacts sometime down the line. I'm also realizing that I'm starting to recognize a bunch of the people I'm playing with. Anyway, so just turn two into probably turn two into a probable turn three. We don't exactly have double black, so there's our double black now, but it's not like we're gonna be able to play it anyway. Yeah, let's take the ramp out. Then next turn, we have to remember it has to be tapped. So opponent playing an everything pizza is this is actually opponent is dipping into all them colors. Yeah, that was a good draw too in the sense it got rid in sense I got those now and not two turns later. Opponent should have a creature by this point. Primordial Pachyderm. 2 life. I probably might want this first. So we take the hit. I could henchbots it right away if our opponent doesn't present anything bigger. Yeah, using their frog bottler against them would actually well it does intertap and attacking, so that is an issue. There's also an argument for taking this back. Yeah, they're just gonna dig, I guess. And yep, one more creature to put fear in them. The next turn we're looking into can't be blocked by more than one creature. Oh. Okay, Foot Ninja Squirrelanoids. I probably want the Foot Ninjas first. So canceling with this, so we pass. So we're now relying on April to just keep going and crashing through. They have a frog butler of their own, so that's a no-go. I could just swing with all three of these guys, force triple block, I guess. See how they respond to this. Definitely don't bounce the frog butler. That should be one trigger. We should get 4 ninjas. So one more ninja and we would be able to take your life down by half, but not. Again, henchbot showing that they're not. So they get to bounce their frog butler back. Okay, okay, that's kind of reasonable. But now they only have 4 blockers. And this attacking ninjas will have death touch, so it's especially relevant for this. So everything has death touch, so we can wipe everything. And that has first strike, so we still. Yeah, I would block it like that. Everything having death touch really matters a lot. They probably blocked foot ninjas with butler, and they probably blocked squirrelnoids with metalhead. Let's see, sacrifice another artifact. So if it deals damage, yeah, by letting if they let this hit first, then no creatures are in the yard, so they're just taking a flat 4, which is fine. So yeah, with an empty graveyard. And I could actually, yeah, Pain 101 is good. Now we finally have a use for henchbots. And well, yeah, we managed to empty our. Yeah, the draw 2 cards is this draw 2 cards is very good for us. Now we're crossing our fingers our opponent doesn't have a board wipe. They could activate the Omni Pizza, deals 3 damage to any target, so probably they could hit henchbots. That's probably one reason to wait on this, I guess. And 3 counters, so this becomes a 7/7, so. But I don't think they have enough blockers anyway, even with the activation. Yeah, but we did kind of convince them to activate. Oh no, this is, yeah, okay. It gives them a card. We have to discard before we even declare blocks. I'll probably just put it here anyway. this has to block this, and this has to block this. So this is now where we're hoping that we can punch through with, they don't generate enough blockers or removal that we can still punch through. On our end, we're hoping to hit removal or probably even more creatures. Removal would be really nice at this point. We did hit, yeah, we hit 2 of our rares. Our opponent hit none of it yet, so that's, so yeah, we can see why the rare game is going to be so important here. Oh, you can eat the pizza after all. Can't drink the drink though. Can we eat this pizza? Yes, you can eat that pizza. And let's eat this pizza. Can't touch the tomato sauce. Oh. Draw 3 cards, okay. Puts a land but doesn't really do anything else. So unless they have a card that generate. Oh, 1 more pizza to eat. Okay, that's. Can we eat the popcorn? No. Can we drink the tea? No. And yeah, it's over. Yeah, it's over. So we can eat all the pizzas, but I don't think it does anything. I'm pretty sure everyone's discarded at this point. Someone would have figured out that you could do it. I'm quite impressed with the guy who figured out that you have to win the game at the arcade to get something special. Or I think that one was actually 2. Anyway, 3 wins. Yeah, let's keep going. We're doing quite well so far. This is where I feel like the game now truly begins. We start running into people that have done just as well. Apparently, multicolored food seems to be quite a thing. Like we saw our opponent with the everything pizza. That was quite a bit of an advantage if our opponent was not at such a was not at such a desperate position. So, not to mention there's no actual ramp archetype. Okay, so Action News Crew, Pain 101, optional Omni Cheese Pizza. This is a weaker hand, so something to keep in mind. But I would probably still play it. Also doesn't help that our opponent's going first. Thankfully, it's opens in green blue, so this is a mutagen deck. They might just trade with Zoo Escapees, and I'm okay with that trade. Sure, it generates quite a few mutagen tokens. Because if we can convince our opponent to cash in these tokens and start crashing in, well, okay, removal is there. That's a bit disappointing. On the other hand, at least they used it now. So Death in the Family might be a better option here. So next turn we probably just go. Ooh, okay, opponent's also digging. So this is the 5. So this might be a 5-color deck. Okay, I'm gonna do it like this. And this is where I hope I get our opponent here. Okay, they did discard some good stuff, just not the big stuff. They can probably still drop something. Oh no, it's just everything pizza, which is usually what is the into. This is it. So, oh, if he cracks it now, neither of them can block, and that might be okay. They might not have. We will be taking 6 though, so that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, this is the mythic uncommon. Okay, take the lead only triggers once. So we're probably taking. Oh, they're going all in on that. Okay, double strike 2 probably helps. So I actually want this. I don't want the other land, but that can wait. Yeah. That said, they do have enough mana to buff something, pop something, etc., 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 etc. If they leave only one blocker, I can Shredder's Technique first, take that out. Then I probably just discard Karai in this case. Yeah, now this. Now they did hit their. They did hit their one rare, but their mythic uncommon is quite good here. I think I can afford to. I can afford to take 5. And I can actually just henchbots this. Also note that we can use this to generate blue, but we need one in the blue to make something unblockable. Something to keep in mind. What would we get from our opponent's deck? Not much. They probably have removal for this though. At least it resets. Pizza card. I'm actually willing to give up Splinter. That's their card anyway. You probably have a flash feature. Yeah, I figured as much. Oh. Yeah, we might not have enough to get out of this. Oh wow, they had all the ice cream kittens. Oddly enough, what I could do is sure I could do that first. Get rid of the biggest ones for now. Okay, now let's see. If they happen to have the anchovy pizza, then it's game over. Oh, it's pizza. Wait, what does this do? It enters, it's beginning. Okay. It's another creature. But yeah, they had a really good draw engine between the mutagen tokens and this. So let's see. Two blockers probably would not survive long enough. If a permanent now this is under your at the beginning of your end. Okay, they had that. Okay, we can concede. That was a very good now that was a very good use of the pizza. That's the pizza deck that everyone's been talking about. Something for us to consider. It's fine. We could we have played it somewhat different. I guess instead of using hench boss because that was a source of vulnerability, we probably could have just tried to keep hitting our opponent. Get one unblockable hit our opponent. Get two of their creatures back. It would have sandbagged the board long enough, I guess, until our opponent could actually remove it. Yeah, we actually had the perfect chance by taking their splinter. We did not use it properly. So, okay. This one, it's a bit slower. Just removal or extra card draw into a high-flying ace. So this is where we get into trouble when we don't have our really good opening hands. So that's why I was emphasizing that we really need to take those early drop creatures first. And even then, I could play high flying ace, but our opponent probably has removal, so I'm just gonna stomp it. The best way to avoid getting sneaked upon is just to get the creature off the board. Okay, it's everything. We're probably gonna get tired of the everything pizza deck, I guess. That said, I do need to start getting some creatures in. Start making our opponent spend their removal. I guess this is how you would play control. You would start getting a lot of removal, be able to try to cash that in. Weathermaker, what does this do? Adds a charge counter. So if they're able to remove 3 charge counters. So right now it's just 1 mana of any color, so lightning. not the best payoff, but so let's see, one, two. We'll have 6 mana next turn, so I could do 3 and 3. They will sneak something in, so let's see, what are they sneaking in? If it's good enough, I might actually just consider cracking. Going banana pizza on these guys. Oh, it's a shredder's technique. That's not the worst. Yeah, but the big payoff is the one that we have to take out. So next turn I probably just drop these two. So these two can easily die if our opponent holds up those charge counters. Something to keep in mind. Also note that our opponent can gain life off this, so... Also, we're in an interesting position where I am quite tempted to actually just take out these last two cards. So I'll play High Flying Ace first. Let's give our opponent something to hit. And I'm just gonna probably more correct to draw 2 cards, keep pressing the advantage, but denying them those 2 cards might just be as important. Make your move, takes out the pizza, sure, that's fine. Ooh, yeah, that is a good hit. They can still snipe that. I was expecting them to do that. So I'm going to play Tunnel Rats first. I'll see if I can avoid exposing. See if I can avoid exposing Agent Bishop to danger. Also, let's see what one has about 3 colors. If they swing, I just double block. Oh, never mind. So now the race truly begins. I guess it can't be blocked. We can keep forcing them to activate so that can't be blocked. But I definitely now want to put counters on these, so that seems to be the race we're at now. Let's see what their follow-up is. Yeah, this one's gonna keep growing. Okay, so now they have to decide. They probably snipe Dark Leo and Shredder. Activate, they go up to 6. But I think we can keep race. No, opponent's gonna start holding back. They probably have another removal spell. I am just gonna hold. If I can get this to at least 6 first before I swing, I will do it. If I can get Karai, I will definitely swing with everything. Opponent trying to find a way to get their removal back. Yeah, removal is going to be so key when we're dealing with... This is not the worst. What does this get? Flying Menace, their haste until end of turn. Each other attacking creature gets +1/+0. So probably just makes this unblockable, hits, gain life. Yeah, this. Okay, so. Yeah, they're missing the. They need a way to generate their. Yeah, that'll be an even trade. What did we make them? Yeah, we just made them discard this. Yeah, this time they're now flooded. We got our win there, so not bad. Able to put up the pressure. Okay, let's do a sanity check. How many rares did our opponent hit? I think our opponent only we hit Dark Leo and we hit Dark Leo. We hit Agent Bishop. Yeah, that's two of our rares. I think our opponent only hit their Leo. So yeah, two rares to one rare. That is the reality that we're looking at. And I can see why this format would have not so much of a shelf life, which is a horrible thing to say considering that we're barely in the release month. Secrets is so people are pretty much gonna be asking about when does Secrets of Strixhaven come out. We This is super risky. Our opponent taking a mulligan makes me feel slightly better. But it's pretty much buy draw cards, buy time. Okay, opponent actually double mulligan. So well, we're gonna be needing double black. So I might actually be tempted to just hit Shredder's Revenge, take out their other cards at this rate. Yeah, hit this for one. They play this, hit their land drop. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I guess what I should do is I should make them live off the top their library. I should use. So whatever next big drop they have, we probably also this has to be our graveyard. So if Shark Shredder dies, that would be something interesting. We're cloning the and yeah, opponent. Oh wow, that would have been a very another everything pizza just to hit their land drops. I am. It'll be interesting if that last card happens to be removal. What I can do is I can split the difference. I can just start with Squirrelinoid's action use crew. I can. They might have removal, but it does play into cloning a Shredder, so I don't mind it too much. They did not have removal, and they got Well, in fairness, they did mull to 5, and we did make them discard their payoffs. So that's the niche case where where you make your opponent discard. Most of the time, you should be drawing cards. So 5 wins, 1 loss. Let's see. Let me check. Let me check what release date is April 24. So we have about we literally just have 6 weeks of which is probably fine. Which is probably fine for a short format. Like the release window makes it so that this format is not too egregious. It it's really bad. It's still really bad if you're someone that has to play draft a lot for purposes of content. As if you play it on a regular but long cadence, like say once a week, twice a week, it's probably much bearable. It's probably a lot bearable. Butler. Now, because of that, I'm just gonna exile this now because that's still ramp. That's still ramp that I don't want to have to deal with. Opponent just as good game into a Genghis Frog. Yeah, hey. Now I'm just looking for either. Now I'm just looking for my payoffs. Yeah, delaying them that one turn is probably important here. Now this becomes a tree, but we do have death touch. So I'm going to I'm gonna offer one death touch. Obviously take. I'm hoping they swing back, but actually I should have probably swung with both of them. Now, because of the timing, my creature my creature would be back just in time for that. Although I would have probably wanted to put it in hand, but we were able to snowball our opponent. Bespoke. Return. Okay, they swing. I'm fine with that. Take 10. So which one? This one requires something to disappear. So let's take the rare out. Untap, sure. They probably block Karai, which I expected there. I'm actually surprised that they. Okay, they're. Ooh, Michelangelo's technique could be quite brutal here for us, depending on what they find. Sneak 4 for. Now, the interesting this is total mana value 6 or less. This is worse than Collected Company. Actually, hard to say. We definitely don't want more swamps. Okay, I'm gonna swing with the bus. just to get my disappear trigger. Yeah, that was a good call. Yeah, that. Yeah, Tenderize is pretty good also. So I guess the good news is that see what we hit. And this one, I guess. I guess the other fine thing is that our opponent can't block April at all. There's also an argument that I probably should have swung with this guy, but yeah, let's just crack for it. Let's just crack, gain some life. Yeah, because I could have, but our opponent would do the same thing, so it's okay. Definitely keeping that. I just wanted to get the extra scry again, even if it delayed me a bit. Also, it gets me an additional scry as well, so we'll leave it at that. Yeah, there we go. Probably taking a big hit for now. At least we have... Let me get our disappear trigger. Wow, how many lands did we bin? 5. Okay, so this is now the case where can our opponent take out any one of our creatures? Or present a blocker? Ooh, what? Okay, they gained life to a card. Wow. Okay, owning a shredder, exile target creature, or create a copy except. So now they didn't equip, and this has to be create a token that's a copy of a card exiled with this saga. So I can block with this and I can still get it back. Wow! Yeah, we're not winning. Wow, we are not winning this. If I could have taken them down to 4, yeah, that earlier mistake of not attacking with this is cost us. We could have taken them down. So wait, let's see. Yeah, I can't chump block this. Yeah, that's the game. Okay, this one is my fault. I could have won it if I had attacked with this earlier. So cloning a shredder would have been nice, but yeah, good game. But it's a bit unfortunate. We could have had it. We could have had it. Yeah, it's coming back to haunt us. But still, we got five. We got 5 wins out of this. For it's pretty, which is pretty good for Premier Draft. We made back our buy-in. Okay, so we got Squirrelinoids into a bit of a yeah. So maybe this is not a good key for us. Yeah, Henchbots. Well, in fairness, our opponent did. That was a very good draft on our opponent's end. Also, they were able to They were able to stabilize quite a bit. Actually, so if our opponent somehow has the removal, but I'm probably just gonna play Insectoid Exterminator. So I could swing with this, force them to block, then yeah, let's just do that. Force them force them to block, get ourselves a free strike. Yeah, we don't definitely I would like another black mana at this point. Ooh, what's this do? Becomes the color of your choice and gains hexproof. Deals combat damage to a plate. Make it look like I'm desperate enough for this scry. Now this plan does get slightly ruined if our yeah, because we now need. Thankfully, this is just hexproof, not protection, so I can still block. Actually, honestly, I probably should have scried this down. They might have a response to this. No, they did not have a response to it. So we actually that was actually a clean answer. It's not a great answer, and now I don't have. So I'm actually gonna hold back. So they still have a 4-3, but the effect is pretty. What did they disc? Hot bashing time. Actually, I can take. Okay, so now I am less enthused. I could surprise taking down to 11, but what's my crackback? 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, which is fine but not great. This might also incentivize our opponent to start tracking one of these. If oh, that was a they had a very consistent deck. So what can I get back? Just the Squirrelanoids. Get ourselves another trigger. I guess it's plus block. It's an additional blocker, and it's something that I can play together with henchpots. I am trying to convince our opponent to start using these so that henchpots can. They're still not using the henchpots. Okay, they now use the henchpot. But it looks like they're somewhat gassed out here. Wow, the Scry is so good, that's for sure. I might have to run this. No, I think I can take some damage. Yeah, if I can convince our opponent to. Yep, that's it. But make sure. Ooh, we might not be able to convince our opponent to activate that. Trigger's technique. If I can convince them to double block this, I'm fine with this. If I can, because that reduces the number of creatures also, I'm also okay with that. So now I'm in the super unenviable position of now they could pop this in response, so they don't end up losing it. Yeah, that's one thing I should have considered also. So the duration already ended. But we're probably dead next turn unless I can figure something out. Yeah, this is the power of blue red really going wide and aggro. So having white black is kind of more mid range in that sense. And oh, is that the case? Yeah, good game. But we got our payment, so I can't be too nonplussed about it. We did make some mistakes make some mistakes, so that's kind of on us. But this was a good draft. We did pretty well, all things considered. As long as we make what we put in back, I'm fine. That's gonna be it for this episode of Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and turn on notifications. And then just gonna see the fruits of our labor. Yeah, this guy, if we let the game go long enough, that guy does become very annoying. That is probably Green's power uncommon. I would have really loved the Dimensional Exalita. It's fine for white red. Cool but rude, one of the cards that everyone's been talking about. Novel. The Night Watcher. Michelangelo's Technique. That one kind of got us a bit. Oh yeah, we considered getting this other rare. Then you draw X. This probably would have been fine also. This probably would have been a safe take. I put something else there. In hindsight, maybe I should have taken that other rare. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to see you guys again next time. Take care, God bless, stay safe wherever you are. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.